Hello. All right. Thank you all for being here. And I want to say welcome everyone to today's show. My name is, oh, wait, I should turn this on. My name is it working? There it is. Oh, I turn it on, turn it off. There you go. My name is Anthony Barocas. I am the Chief Gearhead here at StreamTek. And I want to thank, yeah, it's going to catch up now. I want to thank you all for being here for today's show. And what is today's show? Let's get off the graphics screen. And it is all about a really tiny studio. And this past weekend, in the US, there was the ham radio event called Field Day. And part of Field Day is where all kinds of amateur radio operators go outside of their normal locations and set up in parks and fields and emergency centers and wherever. And they practice as if it's a big emergency. And we make contacts all the way across the country. And I brought as small as I could possibly make it. I brought the tiniest studio I could possibly bring with me to this park so that I could do multi-camera live switched video from the park to promote the event. And I've used this same kit multiple years in a row, and it's basically like that's the only thing I use this for, and all the graphics are still in it. I only had to update some of the graphics for this year for our new location. And this is the tiniest studio I know of. There's a couple of solutions, but I'm going to talk about this one because it's free. It is free and it works on older hardware. So if you have old iPhones and Android phones or old iPads, this works. And I have done a video about this, but I haven't done a live show about this to answer questions. So I thought this would be an opportune time while it was still fresh in my mind, while I still had the graphics loaded, and bring it out and show you. But as always, if you are just tuning in live, because I'm watching the number count go up, I'm back in Restream here. I'd love to know where everyone is watching from. If you have not already chimed in, many have. If you have not already chimed in, I'd love to know where you are watching from, because this is a worldwide show. And we've got people chiming in from across the US, Greece, India. So this is, I love knowing where people are watching from, because this is the magic of live streaming. This is the magic of this tiny studio that I can broadcast around the world using not free, but using infrastructure that already exists and is available to you and anyone out there. And as always, if you have a streaming question, it doesn't have to be limited to the tiny studio that I'm talking about today. If you have a streaming question, feel free to throw it in the comments, because this is a live show. The magic of you being here at the same time as I'm producing the show is that you get to ask questions, and we can try something out. It does not have to be specifically on this topic. I will be honest. I am not AI. I'm not going to scour the web for the answer in 0.2 seconds and give you wrong information. I'm going to tell you if I don't know the answer and say, I don't know. I will do my best to answer a question if I can. And I also have a couple decades of experience, so I can give you experience, which AI is never going to do. So again, thank you all for being here. Welcome everyone to today's show. And just to get a few people who have already chimed in already, Eric Jan van Den Borgard, you have to send me like an email so I can pronounce your name right or not feel like I'm totally massacring it every single time I say it. But he's watching from Schiphol East, Hangar 14. And we have Mike Sabatini from LaSalle, Illinois. RP Digital Udi from India. Thank you very much for watching from India. And Andreas is back saying hello from Greece. Thank you all for chiming in. Let's see if anybody else. Aha! John writes in from Kildare, Ireland. And, oh, this is a new one. Georgia. I can't say it. I can't do two consonants in a row. Tbilisi or Tibet. I don't know. Toma, thanks for being here. And GB Media says, hey, Anthony, good to see you back. All right. And I think this is of interest because I have people looking for an extremely portable setup. And this is going to look a little bit more cumbersome than it actually is. This dongle is here because I want to share this screen with you. I don't have to have this dongle. Literally a phone. That is the whole kit. Like, you can reduce it to this. This is the entire studio. This is it. And I can use both cameras on this. I can switch between both cameras. I can do lower thirds. I can do overlay graphics. I can stream, pick a destination and stream to it. I can see comments. And I will actually stream and see what those comments look like. And, you know, that'll be kind of interesting. But this is the whole studio. So it's iOS based for the switcher. But your cameras can be Android based. There's an Android client for cameras. Now, this, what I have here is just a clip, a little tripod, or, you know, selfie arm so you can have it a little bit further away. And what I had this for was that I can set this on a table and back up a little bit. So that allowed me to back up. Of course, the camera's going to focus on this because it's closer. And this is my microphone with a little lightning adapter because I have a phone that does not have a headphone jack. But if you had a phone with a headphone jack, you could just plug the headphone in like that. So if you have an older phone, like my secondary phone, which is over there charging because it went dead, this is really all you need. And I had this set up, come on, work with me. I had this set up so that I could talk, and I had this microphone pointed at me. So this is actually how I used it, like this. So the microphone's pointing at me, the camera's pointing at me, and I'm switching the show on here. I'm putting up graphics and everything while I'm talking. That's the whole studio. Now, you can augment that. This package, this software solution actually works so that I can add another camera. Now again, this is the smallest version. There's a bigger version that I've covered in another video. It's also free. It's orphaned software, but it's orphaned old software with all of the optional features enabled. And you can get it, you can download it, you can use it for free. And if you have older devices you want to throw at this, that's perfect because this was orphaned before COVID. So it's 7-year-old hardware is perfect for this, as opposed to getting a software package out today that kind of requires, oh, well, you need a new M1 iPad to run it. Oh, you need the, you know, the more thousands of dollars you could throw at this, the better you will be. This software is actually designed and orphaned before the M1 even came out. So if you have an older iPad, or you buy an older iPad for $100 off of, you know, Marketplace or whatever, you're good. So, with this one, can multiple devices work with a USB hub? Not with this. This came out, this was before iPad went USB, so this doesn't understand the USB capability for multiple devices. Newer software like Top Director and the new Bird Dog, I have a show later today for Bird Dog, the new software can understand USB hubs and multiple USB inputs, but not this. So, no, great question. The McGee Academy Arts and Sciences broadcast says, good morning from Pico Riviera, California. And GB Media says, hello from New York. Innovator 777 says, hello from Southern California. Is there an all Android solution without Apple? Good question. There are several Android solutions, and namely the YOLO box and the Magewell Director tablets. Those are all Android based. And they have hardware inputs. So they're kind of all done for you. And they're new and they're fully supported. Is there an older Android solution that offers the same feature set? I don't think so. There might be one out there that I don't know of, but in general, this is one of those times I'm going to say, I'm not AI, I can't scour the web in 0.2 seconds and give you an answer that could possibly be wrong. I'm going to say no. Is this software late? Oh, Steve, you came late. That's okay. We're just getting started. Is it software based? Yes. And I have it running here on a phone. And as I says, this is the entire studio. If you wanted to, you could, this is it. Some people love to use their daily driver and then use the apps on the daily driver. I recommend it against that. This is a key point. This is a very key point. If you have the opportunity to get a device and dedicate it to this purpose, you will be better off. Again, because if you're using an older device, it's not as powerful as a device today. If you are going to be doing this on a mobile device, an iPhone or an iPad, and it's 5 years old, it's going to be less powerful. So don't also ask it to be doing everything else, checking your messages, checking your social media, checking for comments, and doing all of this stuff. None of that. Go buy a device specifically for doing this. And I'll be honest, my wife says, what do you need another phone for? I say, it's not a phone, it's a camera. And in this case, it's the entire studio, but it's a camera. This is a camera. I'm going to go and get the other one. Yay! In the time before the show, I got 31% charge, so it should make it through the show. Look at this. It's got one camera on it. How long has it been since Apple had a phone with one camera on it? Yeah, they got the SE, but whatever. So this is not the SE. I think this is the 8 or something like that. It's got the haptic fake button on the front. And this I have running. Let's go to my overhead. So right here, this is this device. And you can see it's all apps just for doing stuff. I've got NDI, so I can do NDI camera on here. I've got the Mevo, so if I want to control a Mevo device, I can use this. OBSBot, I can use that. I've got Unity, so if I'm going to be working a show with someone else and I need comms, I got a device I can just throw at comms. That's all this is going to do. And Airmix Solo and Airmix Remote. Today I'm going to be using Solo, Airmix Solo. Now, if you are new to Airmix, it is a product from Teradek that came out years ago, and Teradek was trying to go into this software market and reach customers with this software that would let you do multi-camera live switching, but that's really not their bailiwick. That's really not their forte. So they sort of just said, listen, we're out, and they left it. And what I've done is, let me go over here, is I've created a Teradek Airmix group, and it's look for the unofficial, because there is still an official group from Teradek that still exists. They didn't delete the group that they had created. They're done. It's not a supported product anymore. You don't contact Teradek and say, hey, this is not working, can you fix it? No, it's orphaned, but it's released. It's available. If it doesn't work on your device, don't ask them for help. I created this group on Facebook, Teradek Airmix Group, unofficial. It's got 47 members in it. And this group is so that you and I and 46 other people can be in here and we can support each other. So, and I make these videos. I've got two videos on it, and this will be the third. So, ICAT, good evening from India. And Steve mentions that Airmix isn't supported anymore. And that is absolutely correct. It's not supported anymore. Absolutely correct. But it still exists. It still works. It still runs, and it's free. And if you have an old device to throw at this, it is the simplest, cheapest, oldest device using software out there where you can have the entire studio right here, the tiny studio. So for mobile journalism, Mojo, this is perfect for you guys. Is it free? It is absolutely free. Moreover, it is even better than free. They have, initially, it was like, here, you can get Airmix. or Airmix Solo. You can get that. But if you wanted to record, that was an optional thing. Oh, if you wanted to connect other devices, that was an option. There were several optional features that you had to pay extra for. After paying for the app, you had to pay and then pay and then pay. You had to pay for those other little upgrades like, you know, activating NDI on a camera. I bought the camera, but now if you want to activate NDI, it's a $99 fee. With Airmix, when they made it, look at that. Steve Oti just asked to try. It's funny. Steve's here and Steve was there. What Teradek did, and absolute props to Teradek. Teradek did not just kill the software. Teradek says, listen, people are using this. We're going to actually create one more version, unlock all of the paid options, release it, and then we're done. So it's released, it's free, and it includes all of the paid options included in the free software that they don't support. That they don't support, you just have to understand it's orphaned. You know, and this is my unofficial group. So the unofficial group is the one that you can go to so that we can support each other, because again, Teradek is not supporting this. But thank you to Teradek for making it available, because so many companies, when they're done with a product, they kill it, they remove it, they hide it, and you know, only people who may have had it can still use it. And then if they upgrade their phone or change devices, you're out of luck because it's no longer in the store. I have a Pebble smartwatch, and that's what happened to me. I upgraded my phone and it transferred the thing, but because it's not in the Google store, I can't actually run the app on my new phone, even though I had the app on my old phone. That's the thing with software today. Because they still have it in the store, so enough of that rant. So, yes, it's free. Boo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. So let me come over here and show this to you. Let me plug this back in. So this is going to be my external camera. So it's an HDMI cable and power. So that's what that is. I'm not trying to run it from another device. I'm doing that just so that I can Face ID. There we go. And where does that come in? I think that comes in here. Yay. Oh, great. So I'm sideways, but it won't rotate? Okay, fine. So Airmix Solo, you see that, do I have a 4x3? This one? So Airmix Solo, you see up there, and you can see again, this device is just NDI capture, cam tracker, ProTape. This is just for video production. There's nothing else on here. Yeah, it says phone. I don't know why it says I've got 2 calls, because there's not even a SIM card in here. It's not even activated. So I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to activate Airmix Solo. Oh, cool. And let's go back to side by side. Here we go. And it shows no camera, which is weird. It shows black. So here is my desk. That's my desk. This is live. So what you see over here is, let me put me over. On this side are your sources. Along the bottom are controls for your sources. And on the right-hand side are overlays. And then at the top is status. So we're doing this live July 2nd, middle of July. Everybody's on vacation. And this is your gear icon for settings. So this is the whole interface. And then of course you got your focus and iris right here, everything. And we're going to go through this. Let me put it on the side. So starting on the left, we've got iOS camera. You can see that is my camera. And then if I look at the settings for that on the bottom, I can click on the zoom icon and I can zoom in and I can zoom out. That's cool, right? I can zoom in, trying to zoom in, there we go. And then there's a return icon. Basically says reset it. Then you've got the camera flip icon. So I can flip it and now it's using the selfie camera. So technically I can switch between me. I can be like, hey everybody, this is me. And hey, look, I'm right here doing this show, and switch between my other camera on the back here. And then switch back to me. Meanwhile, you can see the audio down the bottom. I've got an audio mixer, sort of, not not really an audio mixer. You can go between your different devices and you can set the audio for those different devices, but you can't, and it will mix, but you don't have access to all the sliders all the time. You only have access to the slider of the device that is in front of you. So you can't turn down the other audio unless you go to that camera. I'll show you in a second. So here, my iOS camera, my audio is always on if live. Let me bring that up full. On if live, always on, and that's my level. And I can drag that slider down here. I can make it louder and everything. And then if I hit the little volume icon right here, ooh, this is actually, we're gonna put it, this volume icon mutes it, and then I tap it again, and now it's live. And then I have a gear icon that lets me adjust the delay, turn on the camera stabilization, because you see it's a little shaky. Let me turn the camera stabilization on. Ooh, look at that. Now, there's more delay because it's processing, but now it's not as shaky. So let me actually go side by side again. You know, where if I take the stabilization off, you can see, oh yeah, I'm hand holding it. This is blah, blah, blah. I'm really shaky. Let me turn the stabilization on. It blinks. Now I'm a little bit more stable. Pretty slick, right? And I keep going back. It's free. Selfie camera, back camera. There goes to the back camera. Now, focus, lock, exposure, lock, white balance, auto white balance, optical zoom, camera flashlight. Turn the flash on so you have a little bit of light coming from the device itself. And again, your audio delay, or how much you want to delay that. And then, so let's switch back to selfie camera. So already, this is really slick in terms of being able to control the cameras that are in the device that you're holding. I'm going to say done. There we go. So now I've got this camera. I can add another camera. So let me come on here. Let me wake this up. Go into, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go overhead. I'm going to go into Airmix Remote. Remote is the camera, the remote camera. So they have an app just for being remote camera. I don't have this one tethered, so you're just going to have to look overhead. So here you can see streaming to iPhone. I can record internally. I have white balance adjustment, exposure adjustment, focus adjustment, turn the flash on, switch cameras, turn the camera off, turn the mic off, enable stabilization, turn on screen capture. Like if you just wanted to demo stuff on the phone, you could turn on screen capture. And then of course you've got gear settings. What do you want to call, allow while using the app. What do you want to call this camera when it shows up over there? What's the resolution? What's the frame rate? What's the bit rate? Adaptive bit, you know, just there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's on the wrong network. So first thing I'm going to do is going to change the Wi-Fi network. Done. I'm going to come out. I'm going to change. That's a different on this one. I'm going to change the Wi-Fi network, and of course it always turns it off. I hate the way this works on iPhone. Hope that is the correct one. It should have just defaulted to the studio, but it defaulted to the one in the house. And while I am, okay, that one, you can see, let me go back to this. You can see at the very top here, it actually tells you the status. This is the Wi-Fi that I'm on. Now, if you are mobile and you are on location, what you're going to do is you're going to use your hotspot, your phone as a hotspot, because you're only going to hook up 2 devices. The Solo version of this is the camera that's built in and a second device. Still, I got technically 2 cameras in the built-in plus a third, just different view. That's pretty good for 2 devices that are fitting in my pocket. The entire studio fits in my pocket. And if you got one of those little lightning adapters with 2 microphones and you just jack it into the bottom of your thing, clip me, clip the other person, man, I got 3 cameras set up with 2 microphones, and it literally all still fits in my pocket, the whole thing. And so using my daily driver as the Wi-Fi hotspot to go between the two things, which I'm not going to do today. I'm going to use the studio. That is your third piece. So 3 devices, or if you get for your studio, you activate cellular in here, then you also use this as your hotspot, and then you're back down to 2 devices as the whole studio, and you can hand it off to someone and say, go to this location, go do a live hit from that location. And that's it. You don't have to worry about it. They just hit go live on the device and it goes. Cool. So now what it's not doing, let's go back to the phone. Right here, this black square underneath of me, that was the second phone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to delete it. And then you see how it goes up. I can add a new source. Add a new source. So I can add a Teradek device, a video file, remote camera, or a core device. So these are the 4 things I can add. Now, part of the Teradek devices are, I didn't have time to get this one running before the show. They made this little thing called the clip. This is the clip. And this little clip works on Wi-Fi. You can pair it to whatever hotspot you're going to use, or it works in an ad hoc way, but I won't get into that. You can find information online, tutorials, what the different LEDs mean. And this will allow you to take HDMI from anything, jack it into clip, and clip will come into Airmix. So will the other encoders, video encoders. The video encoders do have an Airmix mode, unless maybe in the newer software they've got rid of that. They had an Airmix mode so that you can convert them from broadcasting directly to the internet to broadcasting to Airmix in a format that Airmix understands. So this would allow me to take any DSLR, any long zoom camcorder, anything that's got HDMI, jack it into this little box with 12 volt inputs, or 7, I got 7 volt input. I think it accepts 5 to 14 volts or something like that. So I've got a little adapter and I've got my little NPF battery here. Let me go overhead. I got my little NPF battery here, and this is the 950, and it is just jacked into this power. So I get the power out of this and then it goes into here. That's it. So I could do that. I didn't get that all set up. I'm just going to show you with the iPhone. So let's go back to here. And what we're going to do, okay, let me explain the rest. Teradek device, video file. So if I had a video file in, there you go. Look, I got video files that I shot. So I can load a video file. Done. So now I got a video file I can play. I can click on it. It'll play automatically. Look at that. And then I can cut back to me. Me, video file. Me, video file. And I wonder if you press and hold on the video file, you can say stop when done, auto loop. Is the audio always on if live? You can trim the source, the end, don't play the very beginning. So I can drag that in a little bit, start here and end. That's not showing me the end, but end here. And you can see, oh yeah, if I just let it play, it would go there. Play. So then it's saying, this is the part I want, and I wanted it to stop right there. And then you got the volume. Do I want the audio from the clip? How loud do I want the audio from the clip? Let's just say I don't want the audio from the clip. I can turn the volume down, always on if live, or turn the volume down if you don't want the volume. You can hit the reset button, the little curly Q, you hit the reset button, you can throw it in the trash, or you can say that I'm done editing. All you do is push and hold, and that edits the clip. Now, that was filmed over top of something. I was going to flip that in post. I haven't made that video yet. I'm going to add a new source. I'm going to add a Teradek device. Let me just make sure if this is still up. No, it's not. Let me go back into the app, Airmix Remote. Now that I am, let me aim it this way. So now, say remove camera and core devices. Core devices was if you are using Teradek core, then if you are sending something through Core, you could actually pull that down as a source. I did that once. That was very slick. I had somebody else in another state using Core, sending a stream through my Core and then my account on Core, which is their Teradek cloud software solution. And then I was able to pull that down into this, which is very cool. So I'm going to add a Teradek device, and there it is, my KL1HB cell. That's my dad's ham radio call sign. So I say done, and give it a sec. There it is. So that just appeared right here is this phone as another camera. Remember, as I said, hey, these are cameras, not phones. Because to me, that's all they are. They are really just cameras. And now I have technically a 3-camera shoot with this. You know, do you need a directional mic? Maybe you don't. But the audio coming from this is way better than the audio from the built-in camera, because Apple assumes, even if you're doing selfie or whatever, the microphone's on the bottom of the phone, or the microphone is back here or on top. It's not facing you. Whereas this is a directional microphone, and it's capturing what's here, not what's there. So this definitely, you know, do good audio. And now I have got these different sources, and I can go between, hey, thank you for coming to my show. Look at this other view that I have, and I can show you, look, this is the camera I'm switching it on right here. This is what I'm switching on, and then back to me, and hi, I'm here, I'm talking to you on this device. Now, what about the audio from that second camera? Now, like I said, when you click on it, that's when you get to adjust the audio. I don't want the audio from this video file. And then I click on the camera. There's the audio, on if live. Oh, I'm gonna bring that down. I don't want the audio, or I could just hit mute. You know, I can bring that down. And with that remote camera, I can adjust things. Now, you can't, as far as I can tell, adjust them remotely. Like, it's got the little zoom control. Again, on here, go to overhead. On here, I can do zoom, and then I get a zoom control. And I can zoom on the device, but I can't remotely zoom from the studio. I can't use the studio to zoom on the remote camera. That's one caveat you can't do. Other software packages can do it, but again, this is free. And if you have a camera operator holding this, and they got a little stabilizer mode, and it's like, look, I'm doing this, hey, I'm doing here. Or they could even have an interview, like you're doing a soccer game. Here, take this camera, walk over there, use this microphone, and interview the coach. Hey, so what do you think about the first half? Blah, 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 blah. All right, thank you very much. And you cut to that on the field interview from your main phone. And the audio is only going to be on when live, because it's like audio follows video. And it's built in like that. So let's put that down and cut back to our camera view. So that is what's on the left here. Along the bottom, we kind of cover that as we went through. I can add a new source. Eventually, it's kind of limited on sources. Only 2 cameras, and I don't know how many more video clips. Let's see if we can add another video clip. Let's add this one. Done. Let's add this one. Here. Done. Wow, I am really impressed. Video files at max. Did you see that just pop up there? Video files at max. So there are limits to this super basic app, but I've got multiple video files already on here. I'm gonna clear this. Oops. I hope I didn't clear everything. Okay, no. I cleared the input, but there we go. They're still up. Along the bottom here, I showed you these controls and the gear icon. And now over here on the right are your overlays. Now what I did for this show was I had an overlay for me. That's a title. Hello, my name's Anthony from the Plano Amateur Radio Club. And then this is where we are. You know, this is the park where we are. And this is where the park is located. And then we are doing Amateur Radio Field Day. Now, one thing you need to notice is across the right there, let me do this. Across the right here, each of these has a green arrow. So I'm actually laying another one, laying another one, laying another. They don't go away on their own. So I have to unselect that one and unselect this one and unselect that one. They will fade on and fade off automatically. And you can choose crosses. See where it says crosses off? Click on that. Let me slide in from the left. So I can have it slide in and slide out. Slide in and slide out. Again, this is free. And this transition is just for the titles. The transition you do over here is different. So you can have these cuts and these dissolve. You can have these slide and these dissolve. Different. Rotate, zoom, dissolve. Woohoo! Actually, that's pretty cool. I like that. So side by side, so I can say, hey, we are here at Radio Connect's Field Day 2025, and come to our location. This is where we are located, and this is the park itself. Just come on over to the pavilion, and then I have to undo and undo, and they don't just go away on their own. And then this is the corner bug, and this is a corner bug on the other side. So if I clear those out of the way, these were the two bugs on either side that I was able to keep up the whole time because it doesn't care. Let's add that one, and let's add the lower third, and that one, and that one. Did I hit a limit? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hit 5 overlays, 5 out of 5. You see where it says at the top there, me over. Right here it says overlays, 5 out of 5. So 5 overlays at the same time on old iOS hardware doing the show. And then of course, if you're good about it, you could just take that one off, and then start laying other stuff in. So yeah, and then you can add new overlays. You can just bring in an image. You can do custom text. So here, for the custom text, you get to write what text you want, what size you want, where you want it, what color you want it, the shadow color, the background color, the border color, and then what font you want, what size you want, what justification, bold, italic, and then this is where you actually put in the text. Built in. You're not using an external titler. This is all built in. Now, it's not the greatest titler, but it's built in. Done. And so, oh great, I just made one. Look, text. And then of course it's going to spin out because I just put that in there. But like this one, let me move out of the way. That isn't it, I want people to be able to read it on their mobile device if they're watching this. So k5brk.net/field day. That is a very readable on-screen graphic created in that titler with the border around, with the background on it and the color of the background, the text, how big the text is, the placement of the text, all of that right there, and then gone. And then it's got a couple lower thirds designs, none of which I like, like that. I wish you could put a graphic right in this box, but I haven't figured out a way how to do that. Maybe I'll ask that in a group and somebody's figured that out. But they have a couple of these in different colors, none of which I like. So that's that. And then of course there's like little hacks you can do, because you can bring up that title and it says red, silver, and yellow, right? Those are the 3 colors: size, opacity, the top and bottom, done. But then you see down here, I actually have controls. So I click on controls. Oh wait, no, that's not for the title. I was thinking I could adjust the hue, but this is going to adjust the hue for the camera. You see where it says right here, editing the color of the iOS camera. Yes, you can paint your camera sources. You can paint your camera sources. Lens. You can do lens correction. It's just amazing to me. Shadows, midtones, highlights right here. Shadows, midtones, highlights, your tint over here, the gain, your hue over there. It's just crazy. All of this capability put into this app. And to be true, the Solo app was always free. This was never a paid app. This was like to get you interested in Teradek Airmix, and then you'd be like, oh, this is pretty cool. Then you upgrade to the full app, which offers like even more, like a lot more. So I can get rid of my title, and then you've got your settings. Like at the top here, it says Facebook. So I'm going to open the gear, and let me take this full. You get your broadcasting destinations. So I have it going to on the StreamTek channel. This is called Field Day Test. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call this Solo Test. Done. So now Facebook Live Solo Test says hello. Done. There it is. Done. I can manage my destinations. Go back to my settings. Encoder settings. 1080p, 720p, resolution, bitrate. You know, there's a manual on the right that opens up all of those things below. Adaptive bitrate, video format, and everything. I'm just going to leave it on 720p. We're going to say done. Oh, I didn't. We'll go back into settings as soon as it's done applying these things. Go back into the settings. Portrait mode. I don't want to do portrait. AirPlay or HDMI output. Now I'm using the HDMI output, but if you wanted to, you could actually send this via AirPlay. I don't really recommend that because I've never been really successful in using AirPlay at the same time I'm trying to use Wi-Fi for an external camera, because then it's sending out this other signal to another device that's watching via AirPlay, and those two signals always seem to be against each other. So I would not try the AirPlay output. Input your decoder settings for your remote camera input. Permissions, notifications, extra features. You know what? Facebook chat is included. YouTube chat is included. Twitch chat is included. The URL overlay is included. The recording of your output on the device is included. Again, like I says, those are all, they just included them all and released it. Video tutorials, probably not still there. And recording, so you can look at your recordings. We say done. So those are all the settings in this app. And I'm going to go live. And it's going to publish it to Facebook on the StreamTek channel. So if you want to see what the actual stream is, you can go to the Facebook channel, or you can go to Facebook right now. I'm going to try to do that too. Go open link in a new tab. Hide this. And I'm going to go to the StreamTek channel. I'm going to have to use my keyboard. Again, this is live. T-R-E-A-M-T-E-K. I see questions coming in. I see you writing questions. We'll get to those in a second. I just wanted to get through this. And we're going to go to the PC. We're going to come over here. We're going to click on the StreamTek channel. We're going to make that go away. Here it is. Look, I'm live. So let me click on live. There is failed to go live. No, I didn't fail to go live. Oh, no. Yes, I'm live there. Let me cancel that. I am live twice, I guess. Can I be live twice? I don't think I can go live twice. No, I didn't go live twice because I can't go live to the same place twice. So let me change that. I cannot. You're live. No, I'm not. It thinks I'm live. When I try to go back into the gears, oh, there it goes. Broadcasting destinations. I cannot go to the same page. So let me manage my destinations here. Pick a different page. Maybe I'll just go to my timeline. Look at everyone. Done. Solo test. Timeline. We'll see if that works. Facebook should allow 2 streams, but because they're going to different places. So we'll give it a shot. We'll say go live. It's ignoring me. No, I'm not live. See where it says you're live in the corner? I'm not. Because if I was live, there's additional information that appears at the top. No, I'm not live. I'm waiting for it to reset again. Figure out that I'm not live. Unpublishing. Maybe it's thinking. Maybe it's trying. We'll let it try for a couple seconds. All right, while it's thinking, let me get some of these questions in here. Innovator asks, is this a new product? No, it's not a new product. It's very old. Sensor crop. No, it's not a sensor. Well, no, it's not a sensor crop. What are some cost-effective lighting to use for a two-person show? Just be in a well-lit place. That's one thing. Cost-effective lighting. Just making the room as bright as you can with lots of just ambient light. You know, for a two-person show. Are you on a beach in Hawaii? Are you in an office room? Are you in an underground bunker? You know, it's really hard to understand the scope of the question. Innovator says, looking for an extremely portable setup. You can't get much portable than this. I'm not live. I really don't think I'm live. Let me go to home and me. Oh, it says I am live. Yes, I am live. Oh, because I'm also streaming to my own page. Grrr. Okay, so this is, I may have to like exit this. There we go. I'm going to hit this until it cancels, and then we'll try to YouTube. Continuing down the list. We got into the, can multiple devices work via USB hub? No, not with this software, because this software came out before Apple added USB to the devices. And is there an Android solution without Apple? No. And as Steve pointed out, Airmix isn't supported anymore, but as you can see, it is pretty darn fully featured, and it is free. Steve mentions you have some member requests. I do. At one point, it was £30 a month for the complete package. Yes, it was not cheap. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to quit the app so that, wow, apparently I had a bunch of apps open too. Don't do that. Don't do what I just did. There we go. And by forcing it to quit, hopefully that will allow me to get into my broadcasting destinations, manage the destinations. Airmix test done. Done. It's applying the settings. All right, so now I'm going to try to go to YouTube. Continuing down, can you record the stream for later? Yes. And if you're using a remote camera, the remote camera can record its camera input as well. So you can record an ISO in the remote camera, depending upon how much storage you have, and you can record in your iOS device. Now, caveat is, with the iOS phones with Lightning, you are limited to the storage in the device. So you're going to be limited to how much you can record based on the data rate you set. There's only one encoder, so what you stream is what you record. You're not going to be able to record a high quality thing at ProRes and stream a low thing. One thing. Now, with the new phones with USB-C, you can use external storage. I don't know if Airmix runs on a USB-C phone. I don't have one. So my daily driver is Android. I have an old iPhone, I think this is a 12. These are cameras. So I haven't needed to upgrade these. So I cannot tell you if Airmix works on USB-C phones and records to external storage. Great question for the group, though. Hi from India, cool app. URL browser, yeah, I know. This is the basic app. There is a more powerful app on the other device I have charging called Airmix. And if you go into the video section of the YouTube channel, you will find PC, side by side. If you go to the Airmix, not Airmix, if you go to, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get rid of this. If you come over here and type in Airmix, get my keyboard again, AIRMIX. There it is. I did a video on the full version of this, which has a full-on, it has replay. It has a full-on audio mixer with sliders for everything that you can adjust during the show. It has multiple overlays, so you can do like, you know, scenes and stuff like that. So Airmix is free, and the full version has a video of it already. Today's show is about the solo version, which is what I'm using now. So let me bring this up, go back to my main camera, flip my main camera back. Now you can look at my phone. Here I am. I've changed it. You see at the top here, it's got a YouTube icon. So we're going to go try live. I want to preview. Just go. Sign in error. Bear request. Oh, of course. If it's not one thing, it's another. So I can't stream right now because I'm using all of my destinations, and for whatever reason, YouTube is not authorized properly because I only set up Facebook. Maybe if I try a different Facebook location that's not currently in use, let's try that. Manage destinations, go back to Facebook. Let's pick a different timeline or a different page. You can't, this one still says groups. And remember, you can't stream to groups anymore. Facebook removed that. So this still says groups. So don't think, oh, wait, I can do groups in Airmix. Yay, this is great. No, you can't. Hang on. Select your page. You see, it works better. It's not designed to do that. Select your page. Let's do, I can't do StreamTek, so let's do Stream4S. Video mode, go live, solo test, hello. Okay, let's do that. Say done. I like the fact that it auto rotates that so that you always see right side up. That's pretty cool. We'll say done. It'll apply those settings. Can I stream to 3 different Facebook things under one account? We're going to find out. So here's all my overlays. Let's bring up my title. That's what I'm going to stream with. And we're going to say go live. All right. Publishing. See, this is what it wasn't doing before. And eventually failed to go live. Well, okay. Can't do 2 streams at the same time. Can't do multiple streams at the same time. Now, another cool thing with this is, let me go to overhead. This has a low power mode, so it actually, cancel. Low power mode, so it's actually not showing you the video here on this camera. And then if you were to lower the brightness on your remote camera, you can really extend the runtime, especially if this is like just standing alone, just like an ISO shot somewhere else. Turn the brightness all the way down. It's going to kind of go to sleep. It's not going to show you the active, not going to show you the picture on the screen. It's just going to process it and send it, and not also show it here. And then that way, this just becomes like a dumb camera that shows up over here because look, I can still select it on here. I can still move this around. There it is. Da, 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 da. And then, like we were talking about with audio, you can come into this device, come into here, and you see the encoder settings. There's a delay of 500 milliseconds with that. I can bring that down to like 100 milliseconds, and I can apply that. And then there's actually a delay for my built-in camera. So I can come in here, I can add a delay to 100 milliseconds, done. And it's going to delay that for that. And now these 2 cameras, oh, let's do a test. Broadcast was completed. Thanks. Yay. Let's see. I want to do. Oh, I switch cameras here. Rotate. And you see those 2 cameras on the left there? Just like that, I'm able to get them pretty much in sync. And you can dial that in very directly. Sync adjustment. between cameras and including the internal camera. Wow, my broadcast was completed again. I'm really doing a great job completing all of these broadcasts. Yeah, I really don't know, other than trying to get it to work with YouTube, which it doesn't want to do. Other than that, I don't think there's another thing I can do to try to actually get this to stream. Now, when I tested it, I wasn't also streaming this show, and thusly this worked. I did not think ahead that I would need another place to send this, like an RTMP or something like that. Yeah, thanks. Got it. But I would have loved to have, done that stream with you at the same time as, to bring in the comments, because then right at the top here, right over here, a little comment thing comes up and you can show the comments and bring the comments into the show. That's kind of what I wanted, the last thing I wanted to show. I'm not able to do that because I can't get this to go online, because everywhere I could get it to go online, I'm already streaming. So that is a look at the Airmix Solo app for iOS, and you can use Android phones as remote cameras. And if you find old hardware for sale on eBay, you can use hardware devices and hook up a real camera. Now, can I use 2 Teradek clips or videos as sources into here, 2 remote cameras and no internal camera? I don't know. I've never tested that. I'm going to just answer that question now. But add a new source. Video files. It doesn't say URL browser. Oh, URL. Let's go. Let's see. I'm going to try this out live. Let's go to StreamTek. StreamTek.us. Okay. All right. I activated the overlay. I don't see anything yet. Do I need to go in there and set something? Oh, maybe I need to type in more? Well, that was weird. HTTP. Where's the colon? No colon. I have to find the colon. Colon / StreamTek.us. Well then, no. Don't correct me. TEK.US. Done. Wow. All right, then we're going to go in here again. Width scale, width height, rotation. Move the image. Well, since we're not actually seeing the real preview here, would be nice. It would, makes it hard to know where to do this overlay. But I say done here. That's what it looks like. No, I can't actively scroll it or anything. You can bring in the URL into my show. Look at that. That's in my show. And that is, I can switch to the text. It's one of the overlays. There we go. This one over top. And I can send that one out. Look at that. Even zips it in and zips it out. Wow. Very impressive. I can delete this one. Trash. Delete. And then there's my other overlay. So there's my web overlay. Add a new overlay. Scoreboards. Yes, it has built-in scoreboards. Did I do that? No, I didn't do the right one. Cancel. Let's try this again. Scoreboard. Oh, just click on the soccer board. So here is your home, away, period. Very basic. Very, very basic. But then technically, if you've got a URL overlay, you can do any third-party web overlay graphic sports scoreboard you want. And then just throw it in there. This one's built in, so you don't need a second device to be able to manage it. Although I always say that's the most handy thing. If you could then have a scoreboard and then hand another phone to somebody else who's sitting there like up, up, down, down, stop the clock, start the clock, you know, penalty, let them handle that. I'll handle this with the titles and videos, and I'm already doing enough. I don't need to try and keep track of the scoreboard. Let them do that. So this is built in. If you don't have a them to do that, done. And then there's my scoreboard. Yay! And we're going to test the tornado sirens in Texas today because it's the first of the month, or the first Wednesday of the month. So if you hear a siren, that's what that is. So here you can do that, and then you have to bring this up, and then you're going to say home plus plus, done. So that's up there. I don't think there's a way to get to those settings easier than that. So we'll see. What other overlays can we add? Title, I did. URL, I did. Custom text and image. You know, so if you want to load an image, you can load any of these images. Like I have this field day one already. I say done. It comes in way too big. And then I can take this. I can just scale it down with my fingers, scoot it in the corner, scoot it over here, put it on the bottom. I can rotate it. I can change the opacity like that. And then say done. And then bring it up, bring it in, bring it out. That's how easy it is to author these graphics in this teeny little free app on your phone. Now, if you have an iPad, an older iPad, you can run this on an iPad. It's not limited to running on a phone. You can run this on an iPad and have more screen real estate and make everything bigger and more comfortable to use. But in terms of making a really tiny studio, I think this, which is this, is amazingly small. I can take out the scoreboard. Yay, scoreboard's out. This is my whole studio, plus my second camera. See, there's my second camera. And, you know, 2 phones. And if you've got cellular active SIM card in your main, you can share this as a hotspot to that one. If you need to go further, then I wouldn't do that. I would use a separate device as your hotspot and put it in between the 2 devices so that, you know, this one's here and this one's there. I would put the active hotspot in the middle so that it's able to like allow the video to communicate between the 2, because the hotspot in a phone is not the most resourceful thing to reach super far. It's not going to, you know, reach across a whole football or soccer field. Whereas an external device with big antennas, that's going to do a whole lot better. And I think in terms of making a tiny studio, I have used this. I have done videos from here and switched cameras, you know, talking, bringing up the overlays and everything. So me being able to do a show, no, not me over. There we go. So I'm able to like do my intro. Hello there, this is Anthony. It's kind of hard to see. You can't see just the output. This is me. I'm talking to you live from the Amateur Radio Club, and we are here at this park. And once you come to this park, these are the intersections of the roads we are at. And be sure to come down here to the pavilion we are in and take these for field day. And then, of course, I would do this with more practice. And we are here for field day, and I'm talking to you. Come on and check us out at the park for field day 25. I can point at my other thing over here, and you see it's like, hey, look, I can even point at the things at the screen, just like I'm used to pointing at things at the screen. Come, you can check us all the information down there. This is really cool. We invite you to come check us out, and don't miss the ARL field day. I would probably size that a little better. now that I have all the graphics out of the way. So if anything, the caveat is you don't have controls outside of your actual show area. So the controls kind of cover over your program. It would be nice if the program fit into that inner window, but we're not going to ask Teradek to fix that. The actual Airmix has all the controls, and then it has a preview and a program at the top. So it's a whole different design, a whole different layout meant for a much more in-depth, more professional type of setup with many more cameras, many more sources. This one's limited to 2, the internal, 1 extra, then you're done. But videos, you can add a bunch of videos. So it's like, hey, and let me show you this video. Boom. Check out this cool video of this slider running. And then, hey, check out my other camera. And then come back to me. And then back to this other video. Look at that. It's moving from above. And then back to me. So I'm cutting between those things with 3 overlays, and I'm mixing the audio. And I'm doing that all right here. This is a very tiny studio. So for those people who need to do mobile journalism, Mojo, for whatever reason, maybe you're, going and expressing, your ability to protest something, and you want to do it live, you want to have cameras running, and you want to be able to switch, and you want to be able to have graphics and be able to put on a real full-on presentation. You can do that right here. You even give yourself a little body mic, and then you don't have this big thing on top. You can even just hold the camera, although having it on a extendable selfie stick, actually I'm going to disconnect it now from the studio. Having it on a little selfie stick like this certainly does make it easier to both, where's my volume? I don't know why it's, here we go. I don't know why it decided to do that. You can be doing your whole show. Look, I'm talking to you like this and walking around, and then switch cameras and hold it way above your head. So that way you can get like, oh, look, I'm looking around. Look at all the people here. Check out this great concert. Check out this great event we're at. Come on down and check us out. And then switch back, and then you're back to your selfie. And that way you can do a multi-camera live switched with graphics and video playback, audio mixing, all in the palm, literally the palm of your hand. Look at that. You can almost not even see it. Can I do that? What is this? Let's move this out of the way. There you go. That's all you need. I think that's pretty darn amazing. So that has been a look at Teradek Airmix Solo. And full disclosure, Teradek orphaned it, so they're not paying me to promote what they don't want, what they no longer support. So again, I'm not doing this because somebody else is paying me to do this show. I'm doing this for you. So if you could do me a favor, go to the YouTube channel. Find a video you like and share it on your social media so that other people can see the content that I am producing here. That would be great, and do me a solid. Thank you. Like, subscribe, promote, help me promote. That would be fantastic. And also you can check out my work at Streaming Media Magazine at streamingmedia.com. I have a big review. Did it show up here? No, it didn't show up there yet. I have a big review of the YOLObox Extreme coming up on Streaming Media. That should be cool when that hits. And then if you ever need to reach out to me for consulting or ideas, recommendations, you can reach me at streamtek.us right here in comments. And then as always, like I said, the Teradek Airmix group is right there. And of course, these alerts are going to keep popping up because I'm logged in so that I can see it. So over here, you can go to the Airmix group and sign up. Let's see if there's any membership requests. Nope, 0 new today. Oh, well, nobody signed up. Actually, let me click on that. While I've been doing the show, okay, just one. I will approve this one. And so thank you for signing up. You are now a member of the Airmix group live on today's show. And let's see, I got a comment come in. Oops, not that one. Go away. It moved as soon as I went there. I have an Ultra, and when I try to invite guests by email and they click on it, it tells them that their iPhone device is not supported on iOS. It says they have to use Chrome. Any suggestions? Use Chrome. It's the browser. So the browser needs to process things a certain way, and maybe Apple's browser is processing things a different way. And for the best success, YOLObox is telling you, we haven't seen the best success with this browser. And since you can download Chrome onto your phone or their laptop or whatever Apple, their iPhone, iPad, you can download Chrome browser onto that device, and they can open that URL in Chrome. I would recommend following the recommended instructions. And then if you have a problem, you can complain to YOLO in the YOLO group on Facebook and saying, listen, I followed your directions. It's still not working right. So thanks for the question. Been here for an hour and 15 minutes. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Once again, my name is Anthony Barokas. I am the Chief Gearhead at StreamTek. I look forward to next week's show with you. So till then, thanks for watching.